Psalm 51.
Have mercy upon me, O God, according to your loving kindness. This one's for anybody who fell and got back up. It's for the dancers, the weepers, the worshipers, the warriors. Yeah, have mercy on me. I was lost in the night, couldn't find no peace, carrying guilt, trying to find release. But then I read Micah 7:19. You cast my sins into the sea unseen. Your grace don't change, you always forgive. Lamentations 3 says mercies daily live. I'm standing on your word, not my shame. It's your love that broke the chain. Oh, Isaiah 1:18 said I can be clean. Though my sins were scarlet, you washed me pristine. You don't condemn me, you renew me, you bless. Mercy falling on me like a Sunday dress. Yeah, have mercy on me. Turn my pain into praise, set this captive free. Every move I make, every breath I breathe, it's your mercy that covers me. Yeah, have mercy on me. Not by my works, but by your decree. I was blind, now I clearly see. Mercy rewrote my destiny.
I was that brother crying in Luke 18. Y'all be merciful to me, a sinner unclean. I didn't need no spotlight, I needed grace, so I bowed my head and sought your face. Now I dance in the light, no more chains. He erased my past, broke every stain. No karma, no luck, it's his love that saves. And it's written in the word like eternal waves.
Mercy in the morning, mercy every night. Mercy when I'm wrong, mercy when I'm right. You don't throw stones, you lift me high. You remember I'm dust and still you justify. So you don't treat me like I deserve. You cover me in love, that's the power of your word. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. When I fall, when I weep, when I bend my knee. Like David said, blot out my sin, and by your spirit I rise again. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. Let the beat of grace set this dancer free. I'll praise you forever faithfully, cause your mercy keeps sounding in me.
As far as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him.
Have mercy on me. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Oh, look like Gavin Newsom is trying to do the okey doke on his people, and reparations is back in the news as far as California is concerned. But after what he pulled in 2014, I would never in a million years trust anything from Gavin Newsom. He had that task force and they pretty much killed the reparations bill. Now he got this reparations agency going on, which is, I'm sorry, I don't trust Gavin Newsom. I really, truly do not trust this man. So there was also a question of college admissions. And he actually rejected the bill giving descendants of slaves preference in college admissions because he claims they already got things in place. You don't really have to do that. But, one thing I always find amazing about these governors, they got all the smoke when it comes down to immigration. Gavin Newsom is definitely one of those governors. He got his mouth wide open when it comes down to not reparations, but immigration. But when it comes down to reparations, he takes a totally different tone and position when it comes down to that. So he's willing to go out on the line for immigration any day of the week. But whenever it comes down to reparations, he doesn't really want to deal with this. And, a lot of people are saying that he's only doing this because he's looking at running for president in 2028. That's the only reason why this is coming up. And he knows, number one, he can't get it without our vote. I don't care where he goes campaigning, if he can't get our community behind him, there is no chance of him winning. You've seen what happened to Kamala when she lost all of the potential votes she could have gotten. But, like most presidential candidates, they don't want to touch the subject of reparations. They're scared of that title and taking it on and dealing with it while on the campaign trail. So I think this is an act of desperation on Gavin Newsom's part. I just pray that our people don't fall for what he's trying to do. I pray he doesn't fall for it. Um, some people are. I was looking at some of the videos, and I'm going to show you some where people are falling for it. Oh, he's talking about this and that. Gavin Newsom is doing this for show. He's doing all of this for show. He doesn't care about the topic of reparations, just like most Democratic politicians don't care about reparations. So I'm going to let you listen to some of the response from this. Let me share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Yeah, I don't trust Gavin Newsom. You know, I don't know. He just gives me these vibes. He's willing to do anything that looks good, but when it comes down to really going the extra mile, he's not about to do it. Okay, thank you, y'all.
That's why I signed the first reparations bill in the United States of America. You're talking to the governor that literally led that. I just signed a bill 2 days ago with the Black Caucus as it relates to creating a new office to address these systemic issues. And I've been very progressive in terms of the bills that I've promoted, not just signed, to start to unpack all of those issues. I couldn't agree more. That's why I referenced a moment ago these systemic issues that are real, and the fact that we fundamentally have not come to grips with that past. And that's why I took my kids to the South for spring break 2 years ago, to get them to understand the world they're living in that persists to this day. And that's why I highlighted the assaults that Donald Trump and guys like Ron DeSantis have advanced in this country, continue to advance, which again is a war on Black folks disproportionately. Again, that's why I said anti-woke is nothing more than anti-Black. So I don't disagree with all that. And so we have to own a response to that.
A system in a country picks winners and losers. How do you explain that disparity?
No, that's why I was out there signing the Bruce's Beach law. That's why I signed the first reparations bill in the United States of America. You're talking to the governor that literally led that. I just signed a bill 2 days ago with the Black Caucus as it relates to creating a new office to address these systemic issues. And I've been very progressive in terms of the bills that I've promoted, not just signed, to start to unpack all of those issues. I couldn't agree more. That's why I referenced a moment ago these systemic issues that are real, and the fact that we fundamentally have not come to grips with that past.
Gavin Newsom just vetoed a bill for ADOS that will give them preference in college admissions. American descendants of slaves. He vetoed that bill. He said it's unnecessary, that universities already have the authority to determine whether to provide admissions preferences to descendants of slavery or other groups. It sounds like he's scared, right? It sounds like he's scared. And the person who came up with this bill, Isaac Bryan, said he's disappointed. This could have been a time Gavin stood up for ADOS, American descendants of slaves, for this bill. And prior to this, Gavin Newsom already vetoed a couple of bills that's reparation related. One bill was helping ADOS with assistance in buying houses. And then another one was compensation for eminent domain. ADOS that was impacted by eminent domain in California, and Gavin Newsom didn't do nothing on neither of those bills, vetoed both of those bills. But here you go, Gavin Newsom will stand up to the National Guard. He will stand up to Donald Trump to protect undocumented immigrants, but he will not stand up for ADOS.
Get your phone ready. I need you to call California Governor Gavin Newsom. There is a bill that already passed through the state legislature that would give California universities the option of providing preferred college admissions to descendants of slavery. All Gavin has to do is sign it. If he wants to be the Democrats' next presidential candidate, hold him accountable and tell him to sign AB 7, drafted by my brother Isaac Bryan. I repeat, call Gavin Newsom at 916-445-2841. This is not race-based admissions or affirmative action, because those were rolled back in California in 1996. This bill defines descendants of slavery as an individual who can establish a direct line to a person who prior to 1900 was subjected to American chattel slavery. So please give the governor a call. What we could pass in California could be a model for the entire nation. You have to understand, when slavery ended, the slave owners were paid for losing their slaves. When slavery ended, the descendants of slave owners, they kept getting preferential treatment in college admissions. It's called being a legacy. The buildings on your campus are probably named after them. So stop being a hater and call Gavin Newsom and tell him to sign AB 7 into law. Just because we're living in tyranny does not mean we stop demanding reparations. Live Free California. They just hand-delivered 8,300 letters directly to Gavin Newsom to support the 5 reparations bills sitting on his desk. Let me tell y'all what's really at stake. There's SB 437. This is how we're going to unearth a lot of your family history. How we find out who gets benefits. Allocate $6 million to California state universities to do research. On what? How we're going to use genealogy, your connection to chattel slavery, to determine your eligibility. SB 518. This establishes a Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery that investigates property dispossession claims. Remember when they built that train or that freeway through your neighborhood? There wasn't supposed to be a west side or an east side. We're all supposed to be working together. But they took our homes and our businesses, all in the name of making it easier for white suburbia to get to the city. Then there's AB 57. We already have a program in California that provides loans for affordable housing. This bill merely says set aside 10% of those funds, specifically for descendants of American slavery. Are we building up our own neighborhoods? AB 7. Public and private universities would have the option, just consider it, to provide preferential admissions to descendants of American slavery. We done built this whole country already. Can we at least get a good education? AB 62. This is one really trying to get at the root of the problem. We know that racism has always played a big role in us losing our land. So this bill lays the groundwork for us to make claims about those experiences. And what? Get our land returned to us. This is the beginning of pushing for reparations. Policy opens doors for the long battle we have here in this country. Think about it like this. Trump went after immigrants, then got to Chicago and started arresting black folk. He said trans people shouldn't have guns. He just floats policy to see if he can open that door to discrimination. Because you know we'd be next. So I need y'all to lock in. Malcolm X said by any means necessary. And policy is one of the many means we use to get what we need. It's slow. It could be frustrating. It's one of the many tools we have in our toolkit. So if y'all care about reparations, I need y'all to apply pressure on Governor Newsom and tap in with Live Free California.
California made a promise to repair what was broken, to return what was taken, to turn apology into action. That promise is now at Governor Newsom's desk. 4 bills, the blueprint for repair, all waiting for one signature. Governor, history is calling. Every voice, every call, every signature. It all matters now. Because by October 12th, California must decide. Will we keep the promise or break it again? Time is up. Pass the promise.
Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. I know people don't understand the gravitas of the subject or why reparations is such a big deal of a talking point. You got to think about it. In my lifetime, I don't remember this talking point being discussed out of the last 5 years. Number two, Black Americans influence the culture and have said this is the issue that needs to be addressed. You have a live governor of the biggest economy and the biggest state in America saying this issue has to be addressed. Number three, California leads us in legislation across this country. I know y'all don't know, but once California approves something, marijuana, acts, toys, gun rights, etc., it spreads all across this country. And remember, the law won't change overnight. What you got to understand is this is step one of major things happening throughout this country. That's the law. It's just such a groundbreaking thing that people don't understand history or understand what they are seeing happen in front of your eyes. And finally, remember, they didn't want the civil rights movement to go past. People fought against it. You have to make legislation go about. Big news today. Big news.
California just made history. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill creating the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery, the first state agency dedicated to reparations. Well, what do you know? Now, this is what accountability looks like. Other states need to stop talking about justice and start legislating it. The road to repair isn't optional. It's overdue. Now, I hear you on the repair and it's overdue stuff. I hear you on that. I understand. I get it. But what does having a borough that's dedicated to discussing and talking about reparations gonna do? Like, what is that gonna do for us? Like, is that what's gonna happen? I swear, bro, this is why folks get rocked to sleep by the Democrat Party, bro. They are very creative in their approaches, homie. Because a naive mind would see this and be like, oh, and they're actually trying to do stuff for us. They're actually trying to make this happen. They're actually looking into reparations. When all this is a smokescreen, bro. They've been making different committees and different NGOs and different organizations and programs and all this shit dedicated to reparations. They did this shit over and over again, bro. And ain't not one thing ever came out of it. But you want to know who did get money, who did get reparations? The Asians, the Jewish people, never the black folks. So here's another fucking smokescreen and some more gas being blown up your ass. And look at the person that's posting this. An individual that's sipping the fucking Kool-Aid like always. Here you go, you got a black person sitting here posting this shit. Oh my God, yeah, something's going on, right? Crazy. But yet, folks will call black folks that don't care or want to hear about this shit anymore coons. But yet, you cheerleading for Gavin Newsom and chucking and jiving like this is not considered cooning? Bro, I don't know, man. This shit is crazy. Folks is lost, and it seems like motherfuckers just don't want change, and we're not going to go anywhere. This person right here is not young. This is an old-ass person. She didn't see this shit not happen and seen shit not get done for an umpteen amount of years, bro, and she's still singing the same fucking songs. You know what that is, folks? When you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's called insanity. This is insanity. All you guys are practicing insanity or a form of it with this reparations bullshit and all of this, bro. Now, is it just me, or does it seem like every time Democrats start tanking it in the polls, you know, if they're like elected officials and stuff like that, once they start tanking it in the view of the public eye and all that stuff, they always revert and default to reparations and talking about reparations. Am I tripping? Or have y'all noticed that too? Every time shit starts looking bad and going bad for a Democrat politician, they always go to the reparations and say they're going to start doing something about reparations. And then they start talking about, oh, how black folks need to be paid back. And, oh, we need to do this and do this for the descendants of this and blah, 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 blah. Like, have y'all noticed this shit, or am I tripping? Maybe if y'all stop worrying about it so much and stop crying about it so much, you'll fuck around and probably get it. You probably get it on your own merit instead of somebody having to give it to you. How about that? This song is old. I'm tired of hearing it. Drop your thoughts and feelings in the comments.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, y'all, this ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere because we done seen it. And not only that, Gavin Newsom had that task force. If he really was about reparations, he would have signed it and those cash payments would have gone out. The fact that he didn't do that and he vetoed the cash portion of what the reparations task force what they had recommended, um, that right there says it all. That I just don't like these politicians that every time they want to play on our emotions, they're now using reparations as that way of doing it. But it doesn't go beyond just lip service. And this reparations agency, this is just more lip service. But unfortunately, if you go online and you put in Gavin Newsom Reparations Agency, you're going to see a lot of people still excited about this. And I was like, okay, how many times do we have to talk about reparations? How much talking can you do? It's absolutely crazy. No, he's not going to do nothing about homelessness because the majority of the homeless in California are Black. That's why he's not going to do nothing about that. All they're going to do is get them off the street so they're not seen anymore. But as far as really pushing something through that's going to have tangibles attached to it, he ain't about that. They're not about that. See, you know what they want us to do, y'all? They want us to accept housing vouchers, getting a couple of $1,000 off of college, and things like that. That's what they want. Just easy program stuff. But we are saying, no, we want cash payments like you've given everybody in here. And then we get, well, you weren't slaves. Well, all of these people that were in the Holocaust, they weren't there, but you're giving them money. These fake Indians that are around today, they were not part of the Trail of Tears, but you have given them reparations multiple times. The Asians that you see today, the vast majority of them were not in no internment camp, but you still gave them something. But racism is the reason why our people are the only ones that they don't see as worthy of having reparations. It's all about racism at the end of the day. But Gavin Newsom, gone should be the days of you trying to play with our minds about reparations. I believe you're doing this because you are looking at a possible run for president in 2028. You know you can't do it without the Black vote in this country. So you're going to you know what he's going to do? He's going to string this stuff along through 2028. You watch. He's going to string this reparations agency along for the next few years. And of course, if he wins the presidency, it's going to get dropped faster than a hot potato just removed from the oven. He going to drop it so fast it's not even funny. Why even go through all of this again? Everybody should just be tuning Gavin Newsom out at this point. And anybody that is talking about task force agencies and anything else that don't pertain to any actual reparations. Now, isn't it funny? When the immigrants came to this country, they didn't have a real name. They didn't have real addresses, but they still managed to get money to these people. They still did it. But when it comes down to us, well, how are we going to do it? How are we going to get money? How did you get money to people that gave you a fake name? How is it that you had the ability to do that? Many of these immigrants got criminal records, so they're not going to cough up a real name. but you still manage to get money in their hands. But when it's us, there's all kinds of ways you can get information on us: birth certificates, Social Security, IRS, all the tax returns we have filed, and W-2s we received on jobs. There's all kinds of ways you can track us down. It only seems to be a problem when it's us. When it's anyone else, it's never a problem. You gave money to immigrants that never paid into the system here. And all of you that always complain about the possibility of us getting reparations, y'all didn't barely complain. We didn't hardly even see a Karen go after these folks. Y'all went completely silent. So I guess as long as it's not us N-words, you're okay with giving all the money out you want. And when it came down to these immigrants, y'all seem to have a bottomless pit of money. But when we say reparations, well, where are you going to get the money from? We don't have the money. Oh, well, the American dollar. Well, nothing was wrong with the American dollar when you gave those immigrants money. You weren't talking about no American dollar having no value. The only time y'all talk about that is when money is just the whole idea or concept of money coming to us. And all of a sudden, the value of the dollar and everything's in question. But it's not when you give money to anyone else. This is why reparations, we are going to get it. We are. But if you think a Gentile is going to give it to us, they won't. It is going to be given by force. The Most High is going to force their hand to give everything back. It's going to be by force. That's the only way it's going to happen. So, y'all, unfortunately, True Royal was having issues. She was supposed to join me on this, but she's having issues with her computer. So, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I thank you so much for being here. And, y'all, this California thing, I probably will come back when it fizzle out and it goes nowhere. Like all of the other things they called themselves putting together for reparations. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day and be on the lookout for my upcoming live streams. Shalom, family.